When I work with students, when I work with people who come to my workshops or people who take my course in the university, it's always the same thing. Everybody forgets, and they forget one really important thing. They forget that when we were born as tiny little tape recorders, because we came into this world that was populated by these giant beings, and they fascinated us, and we looked at them all the time. And we saw their lips moving, and out of those lips were coming these sounds, and we were fascinated by that. And as we grew and developed, we tried to mimic those sounds because we wanted to be like those giant beings. And we eventually began to appropriate language. And one day we said our first word, and everybody celebrated, because with that first utterance that was language, we suddenly became like everybody else. And until that moment, we were just a toddler, an infant, but we made a sound that was language, and we were joined. And we knew it too. And we thought, oh, if they're going to have that reaction, I'm going to record more. And so we copied more and more sounds. And then when we're a little bigger, we're running around our world. We're blazing around the neighborhood with our friends, and we're incorporating language into our everyday ritual. And there comes a magic moment when we know absolutely that we can tell somebody everything. Seeing, feeling, touching, hearing, believing, wondering, imagining, tasting, all of that stuff we can suddenly tell anybody. And every single person on this planet, wherever they come from, has the same common experience that we all forget. We run into our kitchen, or we go anywhere where there's an adult, and we get their attention. We grab their shirt sleeves or their apron strings, and we say, "You'll never guess what just happened to me." And they say, "What?" And you go off like this huge Roman candle, and you just go off on this big, wild telling, because language is this big, magical energy that's filling you, and you can non-stop talking. We all have that in common, but we forget that. We forget it because we encounter words, we encounter paradigms, processes, and rules that shrink that ability to be so free with language. And when we get to a certain age, and we've been through maybe 12 years of regular schooling, or maybe 15 in a university context added onto that, we're responding language-wise to the rules and the paradigms and the parameters that have been set down to us. And we forget that we knew how at one time to be completely wild and free with language. And when people come to me in workshop settings or wherever, they come in there with that, forgetting. And so the process that I try to get to with people is to carry them back to that initial energy that they had when they first discovered language. And when they connect to that energy, they just go crazy. They're able to speak, they're able to create spontaneously, they're able to write more fluidly because all the barriers come down. They go right back to that original energy and they work from it, and it's amazing to watch. The stories are there, unencumbered, undiminished, just pure energy like they're supposed to be.